Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Lay. Please subscribe to my channel. This video today, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to talk about concrete. I'm going to talk about habits. Habits are actually really important and really helpful. They'll help you achieve all your goals, and I hope those goals are concrete goals. Habits. They're really helpful, really important. There's a great saying, knowledge is power. But habits determine success. I bet you know people out there that are hard workers. They may not be the smartest, but man, they work hard and they get stuff done, and that's really helpful. And they have great habits. A habit is a process that is completed with little or no thought. It's just what you do. You just make it happen. It's automatic. It's just natural. So what are some examples of some habits that people have? Let's list them. For example, people may brush their teeth. That's a habit. What else? They may, I don't know, chew their fingernails. That's kind of a bad habit. But that's something that sometimes people do. Not all habits are good. Some people are, they like coffee. They like stimulants. Some people eat too much. Some people are just polite. That's a good habit, to be polite. Study habits. Studying. Very, very important, good habit. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. You just gotta make it part of what you do. It can help you. Set yourself apart. Make things happen for you. So why is this important? Why do we care about this? What is this all about? And I have this quote. I have this statement. Does anyone out there play golf? So I have this question on the screen, and this is not my example, by the way. This is Tony Robbins. Okay, amazing. What an inspirational guy. Okay, you should check him out if you don't know him. He had this question: would you bet somebody 10 cents a hole in golf? Well, how many holes are there in golf? 18, right? What's the most you could lose? $1.80, right? No big deal. But so that's not that big of a deal, right? $1.80, not that big of a deal. But what if someone wanted to bet you 10 cents on the first hole and double it every hole after that? Okay, so we can do math, right? That'd be 10 cents that first hole. Second hole would be 20 cents. Third hole would be 40 cents. That doesn't sound too bad, right? Okay, fourth, fifth. By the sixth hole, we're betting $3.20. That's still not that much money, right? By the ninth hole, we're $25.60 a hole. By the 12th hole, the bet is $204.80. 15th hole, $1,638.40. 16th hole is $3,200. 17th hole, $6,500. 18th hole, $13,100 is what you're betting on that last hole. That's a lot of money. And this shows you the power of compounding interest, okay? How it's powerful. The total is $26,214.30. You better not play somebody at golf if you're not good at it with this type of game. So why is this important? If you can find a way to prove every time, then you can achieve amazing, great things. What do I mean? For example, if you were to work 10 weeks here, okay, I've got 10 weeks, week 1 through week 10, and you were to work 1 week, this would be your 100% of your effort. And then in the column over here, though, I would work 1 week, I would do 100% of my effort, but I would try to improve 3%. And by my second week, I would be at 103%, but I'd still be at 100 here. By the third week, I'd be at 106%. And at 4, I'm at 100. By the fourth week, I'm at 109. Here, I'm still at 100. 113, bomb, 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 bomb. At the end of 10 weeks, I would have worked 100% times 10. This would be, I would have gotten 10 weeks of work here, 10 weeks compared to my week number 1, 10 total weeks of work here. But if I'm able to improve by at least 3% each week, I can achieve about 1.5 more weeks worth of work. 1.5 more You've just created time, ladies and gentlemen, by only trying to get better by 3% each week. That's pretty cool. So what did I just show you there? I showed you the power of compounding interest. Remember? This isn't that golf idea. Tony Robbins, you the man, brother. You the man. What shows here is that very early on, we weren't betting much. There wasn't much money on the line per hole. But over time, it got higher and higher and higher and higher. And by the end of the last hole, we were betting like 13 grand. 13 grand on the hole. That's insane. This change over time, this production over time, this improvement over time, this use of habits to help you make improvements over time is what this is all about. And it does you the same thing. This positive change, this great accomplishment over time is what we're trying to achieve here. And habits will help you get there. They'll help you do this. If you change your habits, then you will change your life. And that's Tony Robbins. Again, man, guy's amazing. So we're going to answer these type of questions. How do we create new habits? How do we get rid of bad habits? And there's an awesome book out there by Charles Duhigg called The Power of Habit. You can look up for more information. I'll put a link to it in the show notes below. It is awesome. It's a totally awesome book. And the first third of it is all about how individuals change their habits. We're going to give you a framework so you can understand how these habits work. And this is from The Power of Habit. It's called the habit cycle. And to explain this, I'm going to use a story, a very important story, how we first learned about how habits work. It's about a monkey named Julio and Dr. Schultz. So what Dr. Schultz was doing, he's actually a professor at University of Cambridge in England, and he was studying habits and how they work. He had this monkey. He actually put electrodes on his head so he could detect his brain signal. And they took the monkey in and they strapped him down to this table and they left one arm free so he could do whatever he wanted with it. And there was a lever there and there was a screen in front of him, and the screen would show different pictures. And when the screen would show a picture of a shape, a colorful shape, that's the screen right there. And when Julio the monkey would pull the lever, there was a tube that would come down and drop some grape juice on his lips. And Julio loved grape juice. He loved grape juice. Okay? But when we showed him the picture, and then when he pulls the lever, he would get a drop of juice. That's what happened. And at first, Julio didn't understand how this worked. I mean, who would understand how this worked? It's kind of strange, right? But over time, Julio on accident would be pulling the lever and doing stuff, and then he would get some juice and he'd get really excited. And then he started to realize that when there was a shape on the screen and he pulled the lever, he would get the juice. The shape is what we call the cue. And the lever pulling is called the routine. And the juice we call the reward. So at first this happened by accident, and Julio would get they could see his brain waves going crazy. He really liked the juice. He was really excited about it. Rah! Yum! I'm going to pull that lever some more. Pull the lever, but it didn't always come. It only came when there was a screen, when there was a shape on the screen. And then Julio learned he could just sit back and wait. When he saw the shape, pulled the lever, got the juice. Over and over and over and over and over again. It was pretty cool. Then they got Julio so trained, they wouldn't even have to strap him down. They could open up the door, he'd go running in the room, and he knew exactly what in that room. That's where he got the juice. He would just sit down, he'd grab the lever, he'd be ready to go. Then they tried to add other things, try to distract Julio. They tried to bring in other monkeys, right? Put him in the room as well. He wasn't distracted. He'd just, as soon as they let him in, he'd run up there, he'd sit up there, he knew exactly what to do, pulling it, he was going to get his juice. They put other food in the room. Try to distract him there. Didn't matter. It did not matter. Then they said, what if we didn't give him juice? What if he saw the cue? What if he pulled the lever? He did everything he's supposed to be doing, but the juice didn't come. What if it didn't come? Well, of course, he got mad. He got really mad. Because what Julio had started to do was he had started to crave the juice. He had started to crave the reward he was getting. So the way this habit cycle flows or goes, or what makes it move, is craving. You have to crave the reward. You have to crave it enough to get to and see the cue. That's the trigger. That's what gets you started. To do the routine, to get the reward, to make it happen. And that's Julio and Dr. Schultz. Let's talk about these. What are these things? Cue. That's a prompt or trigger to start. It can be something very, very, very simple. The cue, get you going. We have the routine. That's an action that's completed in response to the cue. Okay? That's what you're trying to get done. That's the habit. That's what you're trying to make happen. Then there's the reward. That's that positive aha feeling, the dopamine hit. Boom, to the brain. And then you have to have the craving. That's the neurological response to the anticipated award. The neurological response to the anticipated reward. You have to have all of these things. You have to establish them. If you want to establish a long-term habit, these are the things you need. Let's go do some examples. One habit that many people have is checking social media or possibly email. Okay? The cue. What's the cue? What's the little signal? Well, that's your phone buzzes or your phone dings or some people just sit down at their computer and the first thing they do is hit their inbox button, their email, their what's new button. And so they get a notification. They get that ding, or they sit down at the computer and they've trained themselves to hit that button, to maybe the inbox button, to download. And then what do? They check their phone, they maybe check their email on their computer. That's their routine. What's their reward? Why do they do that? Well, maybe they feel important. Maybe they anticipate something good is coming. Some good news, some new information. Okay? And they get that dopamine hit. They get that boom, I feel good. And then they start to crave this. They start to want this. They start to desire it. They need it. They want to be distracted. They want something different. They want to feel important. They want that anticipation. They want that good news. It's about exercising. Exercising. Some people, when they go to the gym, that's their cue, right? Some people, when they put on certain clothes, that may be their cue. I remember when I was in high school, I played baseball. When I would walk from my main school over to the football stadium where we had our actual locker room, that was my cue. That was my mindset. That was when I prepared. When I changed my clothes, okay? Put in my typical kind of baseball workout clothes. That's my cue. That's getting me ready. So it could be the gym. It could be the change in clothes. And then you go to your routine. That's your exercise, whatever you're going to do for the day. What's that reward? You get that feeling at the end. You either get a feeling of accomplishment, hey, I did something today. I made something done. I got this done. I got this reward. Or you get that That whole neurological response, that great brain feeling when you're like, endorphins. Oh, it feels so good to exercise. It feels so good to clear my mind. Okay? And then that becomes part of your habit. That's what you want. That becomes something like who you are, like your personality. Again, you're going to start to want this. Okay? Go into brushing teeth. That's pretty interesting, brushing teeth. Do you know in about 1900, people actually didn't brush their teeth at all? It was actually a huge dental uproar. People were like, man, your teeth are rotting. You need to take care of them. You're like, man, brushing my teeth? That sounds awful. I don't want to do that. Most people, though, when they wake up, and then what do? Pretty early on, you brush your teeth. And why? Well, you get that reward, but something else. Something else you get that you might not even realize it. There was a group that had a company called Pepsodent. And on accident, they had an ingredient in their toothpaste called citric acid. It's an acid. And they also had some mint flavor as well. And when you brush your teeth with it, it would leave a tingly feeling on the inside of your mouth. So to convince people to start brushing their teeth, what they told them about is that their cue, when you rub your tongue over your teeth, you feel a slime. They would say, do you feel that slime on your teeth? That slime? They said, don't you want that slime to go away? Most people said, yeah, that doesn't feel right. I have slime. That sounds awful. They'd even quote dentists and say, dentists say you should brush your teeth. Remove the slime. And then it would get them to brush their teeth because they wanted to get the slime to go away. But at the very end, after brushing their teeth, Pepsodent did something different. That acid and that mint flavor, they got a tingly feeling. A tingly feeling in their mouth. Tingly feeling. That's like a cue. That's like a pattern of the brain that I did something. I accomplished something. Something happened, and guess what? I rubbed my tongue over my teeth, and I can't feel the slime anymore. There's no more slime, and I felt tingly. That was the reward. Tingly feeling. No slime. And that's how they changed people. In about 1930, people started brushing their teeth. And it became a habit. And it went all over the world. And it's improved people's lives because they helped people establish a habit. Why do I tell you all this? So you can establish your own habits. We'll talk about that in just a second. And again, you have a craving of accomplishment. That you did something. You removed the slime. You got the tingly feeling. I did something. I made something happen. And that's powerful. That's how we establish habits. So how can you establish or create a habit cycle? How can you make this work for you? How can you become a better studier? How can you read more? How can you exercise more? Well, you have to create a simple and repeatable cue. Something that's easy, something that is going to get you started. It's going to trigger you. Okay? Then you're going to have to do something at the same time and same place, at least at first, to build this, make this really easy for you. Then you need to make the routine easy. Do something really easy. Like when people talk about flossing their teeth, Tim Ferriss has this great example where he says, you want to learn to floss your teeth? Your goal needs to be after you brush your teeth, you have the flossing out there, you pick it up, and you just floss 2 teeth. What? 2 teeth? Yeah, that's easy, isn't it? Makes it simple. You floss 2 teeth, and then you're like, yeah, this is easy. I can do more. Start easy. Make your routine easy, and then increase the difficulty as you master the habit. Also, measure this. Keep yourself like a graph, or there's a great app called Habit Bull. Horrible name, great app, Habit Bull, where you can actually type this in and keep track of your different habits. And if you do them every day, it's really helpful. You can make a plot though, or a graph. How much did I read today? How much did I write today? Did I brush my teeth or not? Check or not. And it feels good. I accomplished that. I get to check it off. That sounds great. Also, you're going to want to pick your reward carefully. You're going to want to do something for yourself. I get to check it off because I got it right. I get to take an extra long walk. I get to watch Netflix a little bit longer than I usually would. Have a reward for yourself. And it needs to be something your brain's going to crave, something your brain really wants to do. But don't make it too costly or too harmful. And guess what? If you don't do the habit, you don't get to do it. You don't get to do it. You have to deny yourself that. That's part of it. And you got to establish that craving. I'm going to make this cycle happen. I'm going to make this go on. And this is much easier if you can merge your long-term goals with your craving. Something you want to accomplish long-term with what you're doing every day. Make your goals your obsession, what you want to do. We'll talk more about that in the future. While all this is crazy useful, and actually this is pretty interesting. You'll hear all kinds of people say, well, I can start habits, I can start exercising, or I can start doing this, or I can start doing that. I just don't ever stick with it. Why is that? Unfortunately, you're only going to have short-term success with these habits unless you change your belief. And you have to do these two things. Number one, you're going to have to believe that this new habit you're trying to do is important. Really important. It's so important that you're going to have to change for it. You're going to have to do something new. You're going to have to change what you do. That's how important it is. And number two, you have to believe that you are capable of change. You have to believe that inside of you, you have enough goodness. You have enough accomplishment, success, whatever it takes. Drive, power, opportunity to change. And that's not easy. That's sometimes the hardest things. I remember when I was thinking about going to get a PhD, okay? I had a really great job. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be more involved with research. I wanted to do more teaching. I wanted to do stuff like this and make YouTube videos. And I wasn't sure because I had 2 kids at the time and a great wife. And my wife was so supportive. She said, you can do this. This is what you want to do. This is your goal. I believe in you. You can make this happen. I support you. When she started to believe in me, for whatever reason, I started to believe more in myself. So I started to tell more of my friends about this idea. And that's another trick. Tell your friends about your goals. Tell your friends about what you want. And they believed in me too. They believed I could do it. They said, yeah, you're great at this. You can do this. You love concrete more than anybody. You can do this. And that helped. There's something about these changes can be made by putting people in supportive communities that illustrates that change is possible. They also show you how to do it. They give you some of the path. So while you see others succeed, then you start to believe in them. And they believe in you, and you believe in yourself. And this is all over the place. If you look at Alcohol's Anonymous, if you look at support groups, if you look at different classrooms where people come in, they don't know if they can do it, but they work together as a team. They make it happen as a team. They have a community that helps them. This is the final goal. You've got to establish your community, your group, that's going to talk to you, that's going to support you, that's going to believe in you, that's going to help you bring it through. And that's what you're going to need to change your habits. My name is Tyler Lay. Thank you for watching this. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take care.